guys, how's it going? Welcome back and welcome to the Chrony and accuracy testing video for the Crosman 760 Pumpmaster KT, in other words kit. This is the new version, of course, of the Crosman Pumpmaster. Mine is the all-in-black model. Anyways, we're going to be using brand new Crosman BBs for the BB set. For the first round of pellets, we are going to use Crosman Premier Wadcutters that are 7.4 grain. The included pellets are junk, although they are Crosman pellets. They're also 8 grain, which is going to slow this thing down quite a bit. But I've done some testing with the ammo, and I had some issues with the BBs. I've also had a couple issues with the gun, but we'll talk about that in the review video. But let's get on with the Chrony testing. And we're going to go 10 pumps for everything here. And we'll do a 5-shot string out of each. Four, 1, 4. Same. Three. $3.94. And we got an error. Either way, we're running in the 400s. That's cool. Not bad. Gun is rated up to 495. Doesn't mean it's going to do it with standard pellets. So, pointed Crosman Premier, 7.4 grain. $3.84. $4.05. $3.81. And $3.99. Pretty decent. Pretty decent. Well, either that didn't register or it's the same but didn't hit the dual. Either way, not too shabby. Alright, BB time. Looks like we got a bunch in there. Now I do have some foam inside my target, so hopefully it reduces the ricochets. Error 2. Error 3. I guess we're going to have to get a little bit lower on this thing. Had a miss jam there. Error 2. BBs are such a pain to read. Alright, before we fire this one off, I'm going to have to get lower to the sensors, obviously, with BBs. Let's see. $396. $407. $393. $399. $404. So 400, it's not bad. Make sure our mag is empty. Alright. So we're going to go outside to the target, see how all these things group. Instant for you guys. Okay guys, welcome to the accuracy testing portion, and we're going to be shooting from 10 meters away, which, I'll be honest, I think it's kind of pushing it for this gun. But we do have some speeds. That doesn't always mean anything. At least that's what I'm finding with this gun. So we'll zoom in on the target for you. We're still going to give you a nice close-ups after, but anyways, there we go. So we'll start with our Wadcutters. Now I have sighted the gun in, and it does seem to hold, you know, because it is a pump-up gun. It's not vibrating the scope, so. But we're going to get what we're going to get for accuracy. This is a smooth bore rifle, and we're shooting pellets, which will not spin on a smooth bore. has moved a little bit. Alright, let's try just moving that windage over a little. The scope, by the way, is very sensitive to movement, so you don't have to turn it much. Now it wants to hit low. Move it to the right, it wants to hit low. Crazy. Still hitting around the same spot. Alright, you know what? I think we're going to shoot one more set of 5. It looks like this scope does actually move a little bit. Now, I have tried open sights on this gun, and there is no adjustable windage, so you have to figure out where it lands and get your height right, and then compensate, which is a real pain in the neck. I am using a rest for this too. Wow. And they say shooting pellets out of a speed bore or smooth bore is more accurate than shooting BBs out of it. Guess we'll find out. Alright, we're done with Wadcutters. So it doesn't seem to matter. So either the scope is moving around, or it's just randomly doing its own thing. I mentioned I had a couple problems with this gun that I had to fix. One of which was the crown. so when I sighted it in after fixing the crown yesterday, the gun was actually quite good. It did pretty decently. However, maybe it is a scope, who knows. Now, given they say on the box that this thing is good for pest control, not gonna happen. Not unless you like missing a lot. So this is what we got. That's 10 shots of Wadcutters. And even with trying to readjust the scope, it does not make a difference. I mean, the gun doesn't vibrate, so the dial shouldn't even move. And I have tested the scope. I bore sighted the gun actually in, and checked how it ran up and down, left and right, and it seemed to track fine that way. Maybe it's just, I don't know, lousy, whatever. But, you know, the recrown did a pretty good job yesterday, but for some reason today, it doesn't seem to be liking things too much. Anywho, let's try the pointed pellets. No adjustments to the scope. We're leaving it alone. Wow! That's like really low and to the right. Well, let's see how it groups anyway. The gun does prefer Wadcutters more. I've tested a number of different pellets through this thing. What's more pathetic is I actually saw that pellet drop right in, which is another reason why I say this gun is not very good at 10 meters. That's it for pellets. Do have lots of BBs in there. There we go. Alright, let's swap out the target and check that pathetic one. Alright, another fresh target up there. There's our pointed pellets and how they decide they want to group. first shot's there, and then the rest of them up in here. So in comparison, see if I can get a side by side here for you. So the one here is the Wadcutters, one on my left hand here, it's the pointed. So, yeah. Alright. Well, BB time, I guess. The sun is really blinding my camera. Alright, do what we can with that. You're still going to get the up close after. Okay, we got to move this way over to the right. A little better. To the left. Oh, I jam. There we go. Still gotta go a little to the left. We'll take a few more shots. Oh man, talk about pathetic. Honestly guys, my Daisy 74 BB only rifle is more accurate than this thing can be. And I use it with open sights. Last one. Almost had some hope there. Maybe we should give it one more. Now I'm going to aim just a bit lower, and we're going to see what happens here, because that was almost centered, but it's just up in the white. No, a little to the right. Okay, let's go grab the target and talk about this thing. All right, zoom out. Okay, so we did give it its best go. Now, I mentioned I had some problems with the gun. Obviously, accuracy was one of them, so I redid the crown. And believe me, the Wadcutters that we shot today, they're actually really pretty and nice compared to what the gun was doing out of the box. It was way all over the place, kind of like the BBs. So that's about as best as we get with Wadcutters. There is going to be another pellet that's going to be better, but I have tried Hobbies, I've tried Superdome RWS, tried a number of different pellets, and so far the Wadcutters are actually doing the best grouping, believe it or not. Even before and after recrown with all these pellets, all the testing I've done, the Wadcutters are still grouping the best. So of course we have our pointed pellets. So pointed, Wadcutters, and the pathetic BBs that we kept having to readjust for. So as far as accuracy goes, I don't know, it's a pig in a poke kind of thing, right? I mean, we know what the gun's speed is actually doing, which gives it no real excuse there. You can literally see the pellets drop into the target at 10 meters, even with the speeds we're getting. So somehow they're losing energy really fast, and that is due to, I would say, the smoothbore thing. You know, I mean, it's one thing over the Chrony, you're only about 16 inches away. It doesn't have that much of a chance, but on the trip of 10 meters, definitely getting slugged down. Pellets are going to get slugged down really quick, just because it is a smoothbore. They cannot spin, so they're under a lot different friction load too than the BBs, because BBs are actually slightly smaller in diameter than a pellet is. The pellet's actually a little bit bigger, so it is going to affect overall speed. But the pellets definitely are more accurate than the BBs. That's a given. The BBs, you can almost just see them hit the target, almost, you know. If you get the right kind of sunlight hitting at the right spot on the target when you fire the gun, you can just get a glimpse. Whereas the pellet, I actually watched it and I saw it hit about 3 feet before it even hit the target. Rough guess, okay? The scope, I don't know if it's the scope or if it's just because the pellets are getting too slugged down in speed. But I think it's probably the pellets, to be honest. I'm going to have to try the scope on a actual decent pump-up gun that's got a rifled barrel and see if the scope holds its own and stays accurate. If it does, then we definitely know it's the gun, which I am pretty sure it is the gun. I mean, given it's a really cheap $20 scope, you can buy that at Canadian Tire for about 20 bucks. And you know, it's a 4x scope. You know, it's a 4x15. I would say the parallax is probably within 10 meters, because I don't notice any real shifting on it as you're moving your head back and forth. So I'm pretty sure we're pretty much safe at about 10 meters. It could be set for 20. It's hard to say, but 10 to 20 is not that much of a difference. It'd be like minor, but it's definitely not set for anything more than that. I doubt it. But either way, Wadcutters, definitely much better. We'll have to see if there's a better pellet out there. Well, still like thousands of choices, right? but how many do we want to go through? Now they claim that the gun goes up to 495. Well, it depends on the pellet, right? Because that's going to be based on, you know, using hyper pellets to get it up there without modifying the gun. I would say pest control, not a chance. This is not ideal for pest control. Even if this was the over 500 feet per second model or PAL version, because they do make it both ways, I wouldn't trust it for hunting anything. I wouldn't even trust it for trying to hit a bird. You know, it's kind of going to be like, well, you might be aiming where you should be, but it's going to hit somewhere else and just maybe tick off the bird or, you know, wound it, you know. Shooting at tin cans, you might hit with the BBs. You'll definitely be hitting tin cans with the pellets, you know. As far as paper punching goes, I try not to waste too many paper targets other than for initially sighting in the gun. Otherwise, don't waste too much time trying to get really super accurate with this gun. It is a smoothbore barrel. It is not a rifle barrel. So your pellets are only going to do so good of a job. Same as this. We're only going to get so much tighter with this, and that's going to be about it, you know. And that's still not going to give us even accuracy for pest control or bird hunting. So, you know, you got to consider that. Anyways, that concludes our Chrony test, our accuracy test. Like I said, I'm going to try this scope out on another gun that I have with a rifle barrel that's a pump up or even a CO2 gun and see if, you know, it's the scope or if it's just the gun. Iron sights, I've shot this thing with iron sights quite a bit, and it's, forget it. Without being able to adjust for windage, you got to really guess, and of course your guessing could obviously be off, because even yesterday, you know, I did much better with the scope. Today was a little bit less impressive, but still really good compared to yesterday, so it wasn't that bad. So this is why I'm probably not going to blame the scope. And yesterday I actually sighted this thing in a very mild light wind. Right now there's like nothing out here for wind, you know, so, but nothing that would disturb a pellet anyway. Anyhow, so that's what we've got. So stay tuned for the review video on this thing. That's coming up next. And in that video I'll discuss all the problems I've had and what I had to do to fix them, as well as if I think this gun is actually even worth buying. Stay tuned.